North and South Seafood and Smokehouse presents The Kelly Sheffield Show on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Broken on the right, rejected. Carter Booth. Opening serve over, pass by Stanford, popped down by Furbringer. Hansen stopped by the Wisconsin block.
Alongside Wisconsin Badgers volleyball head coach Kelly Sheffield, here's Jon Arias.
Welcome into a brand new season of Wisconsin Badger Volleyball. I am Jon Arias, the radio voice of the Badgers, joined by the head coach Kelly Sheffield. This is the Kelly Sheffield Show, brought to you by North and South, the very first show of a brand new season, Coach. It's here. Volleyball's here.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. Here we are.
There's a level of excitement there, isn't there? Where is that?
There is. It's, every year, if you think about it, any sport, there's an excitement for it. Every year there's an excitement for it. And I think our fan base is the best in the country, and I know the excitement is off the charts for these guys and the possibilities and getting to know a lot of new players, but, we've got some elite returners as well.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. We've got some questions from you, the fans, a little bit later on, and we'll hear from Wisconsin seniors Jada Chernelia, Mimi Collier, Carter Booth, and Alicia Andrew a little bit later on in the program. By the way, the Badgers start Friday night right here on ESPN Madison and on the ESPN Wisconsin app. 6 p.m. against number 14 Kansas, and you can catch all the Badger volleyball matches exclusively right here on ESPN Madison. And this too, tickets are still available, Coach, for the Kohl Center matches coming up here at the opening Spike Classic.
There are. I mean, that's one of the things about going from the field house to the Kohl Center is you can get a lot more fans in there, right? I mean, twice as many. I think there's still a handful of tickets left, and let's sell that place out. We're knocking on the door of that. Let's get across the finish line. So
what is that like? It's not only just the one match. It's against Texas on Sunday. You've got Florida in there as well. You're playing in another basketball arena against Marquette later on in the season. What are your thoughts on getting to play in these larger venues?
It's awesome. There are so many. The hardest ticket in town is for the volleyball match in the field house. I mean, that's really hard. But I remember our first year in 2013, the upper deck was closed, right? And the lower bowl, there'd be matches where there'd be a third full. And it was still top 5 in the country in attendance, right? And since then, just how it's exploded. And not just here in Madison, but across the country, and you're seeing great attendance for these pro leagues. You see, Nebraska had 92,003 in the football stadium a couple years ago, and you're seeing more and more schools like what we're doing, getting into these bigger venues and selling them out. Mm-hmm. It's never been more exciting in our sport than what it is right now.
Last year the team started against some elite competition. I believe 3 top 10 teams, and you start against elite competition again. I mean, Kansas, number 14 team, almost took out the defending champions the other night. So, this is a really tough test for your squad right off the bat.
It is, and they've got a week under their belt. They played in these week 0 event. That just finished up. They've played both matches, went 5, so essentially they've got 10 sets under their belt, and this will be our first. And you never know what to expect really from those first couple weeks. So there is definitely an advantage on their part, but unbelievable opportunity in front of us against elite teams.
And what do you see from Kansas? I know the block was really good against Penn State the other night. Their outsides hit at a really high percentage. What can you tell me about Kansas on Friday night and what you're going to be facing?
It's crazy. So their opposite actually used to be Una's roommate. They played together and know each other. They had the same libero in both matches. They had the same middles in both matches. But the 2 matches they've played, they've had 2 different setters. They've had 4 different left sides. And they've had 3 different DSs that were playing. Their lineups were completely different from one night to the next night. And so who we're going to get, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he was trying to play things close to the vest from because I think they played Vanderbilt in the season opener. It was Vanderbilt's first college volleyball match in 45 years. They discontinued the program and just restarted it up. And a lot of talent on that team, and that's who Kansas, their season opener was, that went 5. And then 2 nights later, they threw out a complete and took down the Penn State.
Yeah, how does that, I mean, obviously you have to be prepared for everything. How much, I guess, extra work does that cause for you to get ready for this match?
It is. There's a lot more. But on the other hand, a philosophy of mine has been early in the season, it's more about us anyways than it is our opponents. We're not spending nearly as much time going as deep in our scouting reports early on as what we will, once we get midpoint of the season and the latter part. So there is an element that you want to. There are some edges and some points to be had if you do know your opponent, but it certainly makes it a little bit more difficult when they're throwing out 4 different left sides.
Yeah, as far as you and your lineup, will we see anything perhaps different than what fans were able to see against Notre Dame? Have you been tweaking the lineup before the season begins, or how do you anticipate that shaping out?
I think it'll look quite a bit different. Yeah, I would probably say that. It would look quite a bit different than what we saw against Notre Dame.
Okay.
But one of the advantages, so they have, Kansas has an amazing advantage of being able to play 2 matches under their belt already. Our advantage is they know nothing about our team. So I'll probably be a little bit coy tonight than what I would be any other time. But not that I think Kansas – well, I'm sure Kansas is listening to this.
Probably. I mean, if they're scouting –
why would they not?
I don't know.
And so there'll be some things that they'll just have to figure out once we get out there and take the court. But, yeah, it will be a little bit different. There'll be aspects of what we're doing offensively that our teams have not done before. I mean, I think that'll be kind of obvious. I think offensively, of some of the things that we're able to do, it'll look a little bit different than what we've looked in the past. It's
the Kelly Sheffield Show with the Badger volleyball head coach Kelly Sheffield. All right, so I am going to get to fan questions a little bit later on, and a lot I was, kind of looking at them. A lot of people wondering about Charlie Furbringer's status, and once again, I know you're going to be coy a little bit because Kansas is definitely listening to this program. So, what can you tell me about kind of where she's at, and just how important she will be throughout the course of the season?
Well, I think Charlie's one of the best setters in the country, and we certainly need her healthy, and we need all of her. I've been so impressed with her growth from last year to this year. Setting is a hard position at any time. It's really hard as a freshman, but she also, I think about a player like Sydney Hilley who started as a freshman. She graduated from high school a semester early and had a full spring under her belt, and then the summer, and then was able to go. Charlie got here not too much before we started preseason last year, and with a team that had a lot of 21, 22-year-olds on the teams, that she was 4 or 5 years older than her, All-American National Players of the Year. And she's having to lead and run the show with people that are that much older. I see in year 2 a much more confident outwardly and calmer inside, and a much stronger leader for us than what she was a year ago. Just making the jumps and what you'd hope from year 1 to year 2.
And how much has Lauren Carlini, the addition now full-time as an assistant coach, and you talked about how she's going to be in charge of the offense, and obviously with Charlie, how much has she influenced Charlie?
Immensely. Lauren is so good and so talented, not just as a player, but as a coach. I mean, she's in she was around last year, but this is really kind of her first year as a coach, and you would think she's been doing this for a decade plus. She's an unbelievable communicator. Her patience. She relates to them as a competitor. She knows what they're going through, so there's a compassionate part of it. But she enjoys teaching. She loves watching film. Charlie's a player that also loves watching film. They both geek out on talking the game and watching. So and Lauren is where Charlie wants to be. I mean, Charlie wants to experience some of the things that Lauren is. So there's an instant cred that comes along with it.
With her kind of being in charge of the offense, and you talked just a moment or two ago about how fans will see maybe a different type of style, I guess, than maybe they've seen in the past. How does that come together? Because obviously Lauren's a new assistant. John Shundell is obviously a new assistant as well. How did that all meld or work together to where you are?
Yeah, there's two different approaches you can do, and I would say this is probably about for any sport, right? It's you can either have a system and you have your players fit the system, right, or you get your talent and you put together a system that fits the talent that you have. The second thing is what we typically do, and so you'll see different teams. Our 2013 team looked very, very different from our 2017 team or 2019 or 21 or last year. I mean, all of those looked different, very, very different, not just in the personnel, but the systems that we were running. We will, without question, be running way more back row attacks this year than what we've ever ran. We may run more back row attacks opening weekend than we have at any season that we've had. It'll be more of an international. We'll probably keep, and I think we'll have probably multiple back row attackers, all 6 rotations.
When you say more international, what do you mean?
International, you don't have DSs, and we do have DSs, but the reason is you don't have a lot of subs, so you're utilizing all of your attackers. You're not as likely to probably run as many slides internationally than maybe what we've been running in the past, because you've got a zone one, a right back attacker. That happens a lot. We've never utilized a back row attack in that area of the court, the right back. That is the best teams in the world. That's where they put their best attacker, right? In the college game, most of the teams don't even have an attacker in that area. They're usually DS'd, and you have a little small person over there in that area, and your attackers are usually on the left side of the court. So we'll look a little bit with the style that we're playing, probably a little bit more of an international game.
Very interesting. Wisconsin versus Kansas on Friday, and then the Badgers and the Texas Longhorns on Sunday.
Because nothing says more international than Kansas, Wisconsin.
Than Kansas and versus Wisconsin. I mean, you hear
it's the states.
Although, like you said, the two roommates in Una and Zelenovic on.
They've got another outside that played, I think she was number 5, where she Slovenia, I think, and tore up Penn State last night. Yeah, both teams have a little bit of an international flair to them.
Yeah. So maybe on the court, yes, but maybe the names, not too much international. Doesn't sound too international there. But Kansas, Wisconsin on Friday. And then the Badgers take on the Texas Longhorns on Sunday. So we've got fan questions to get to a little bit later on. Like I said, we'll hear from the Badgers seniors in an exclusive Q&A here. But we'll be back with more of the Kelly Sheffield Show coming up next, brought to you by North and South. And welcome back. This is the Kelly Sheffield Show. Jon Arias joined by the Badgers head volleyball coach. Kelly Sheffield Show brought to you by North and South. Seafood and Smokehouse. So another great year partnership with them. We're excited for that. We're excited for the Badgers taking on Kansas on Friday here on ESPN Madison and the ESPN Wisconsin app. That is a 5:30 start time with our pregame show, and then first serve just after 6 p.m., and then the Badgers take on the Texas Longhorns at 1 p.m. on Sunday. So we've got players from a Q&A we had before we recorded this, a little we recorded this show just for everybody to know. So we'll play that for you coming up in here in just a little bit. But I put out online, Kelly, once again, it's a staple of the show where we ask fans to throw in some questions for you. So we've got some here. Like I said, a lot were about Charlie and her availability coming up on the opener on Friday. But let's see here. We'll start with Laura, talking about setters. Which setter-hitter combo are you most impressed with so far that you've seen before the matches begin?
On our team?
Yeah. I'm guessing maybe who's...
Well, if we did that, then there would be an instant understanding of who our starting setter is going to be.
Oh.
Right?
Oh, I don't know. Is there?
Yeah. It's...
Okay. Should we cut that question?
Yeah, let's ask. That'll be a fun question to ask next week.
Okay. All right. Never mind. Let's not ask that question. New question. So here's a question for you.
I will say this. I think people are going to be really impressed with the improvement of Carter Booth.
Yeah.
I can't imagine there was a harder working middle in the country than what all of us as coaches and her teammates are seeing. How hard. I would encourage when you're watching a match, the people that are there, pick a player and, kind of like football, kind of like hockey, whatever it is. Don't follow the ball. Watch a player and watch what they're doing. Carter, it blows you away of how hard she is working throughout the course of a rally. I think they'll be impressed by that. Mimi. Mimi's arm is international with the range that she can hit, the pace that she hits, how high that it crosses. We look to see where is a ball when it crosses the net, where is it along the antenna, and what you don't want is the antenna is white, red, and it goes on up. You don't want it that lower white because those are going to be balls that are going to be stuffed a lot. And so she can get into that, that fourth, fifth color up there. And so she can get up and over into really good space over a lot of blockers. I think people will be impressed with that. The athleticism of Grace Egan. She's got the fastest arm I've ever coached. Her ability to get on a ball and get on a ball fast, I think people will be impressed with.
Very cool. This is from Todd. He says, longtime follower, first-time tweeter. Coach, every season is different because of turnover in the program. His question, how do you prepare yourself mentally and physically in order to continue developing team dedication, team pep, perseverance, spirit, and a winning atmosphere? How do you continue to do that with brand new teams?
It's a great question because it's not just with a brand new team, but the four players that were here, all four of them came here from another school at some point. 3 of them this year, and how do you bring a team together? How do you develop leadership? How do you develop pride in who came before you? Right. How do you, when you're going through tough things, you need people that have been through it before that says, hey, you're all good. Keep working through this, and we'll be better because of it. And it's and with people going to schools for 1 year or 2 years, forming a team that operates together for a bigger purpose than themselves has never been harder. And so it's something we spend a lot of time on thinking about. But you got to hold true to what your values are as a program, what we're going to stand for, and we communicate that hopefully effectively during the recruiting process so nobody's surprised when they get here. But yeah, the amount of time that you are spending trying to get your team to operate. How do you problem solve together? How do you go through conflict together? You don't have the long ramp up that you've had previously.
Yeah, and that's probably going to, that's going to be the way it is, right? Pretty much moving forward.
It is, and so you can either whine about it or, think about the glory days, or you can figure out, all right, how am I going to, in this landscape, be as effective as possible? And we've not shied away from the transfers. That doesn't mean high school recruiting isn't extremely important. We've got 3 of the top people in the country in their class coming in next year. But I think there's a balance. I mean, I think we'll look anywhere internationally, transfers, high school, to find people that are really, really good fits and try to form a system around them. But how do you have that group come together? I mean, it occupies, as a staff, we're thinking about it all the time.
Great question, Todd. Another question in at Jon Arias Radio when I put this out. Coach has said, quote, follow the process. Can he tell us more about the process he applies?
Is that a quote of mine?
I guess so. It was in quotes on the question, so.
Well, I'm sure I've said it. It's a great quote. It's just because we've had success doesn't guarantee you that. There's every year. I mean, there's just an incredible amount of hunger. That's one of the things that I love about our staff is that their curiosity and their drive to improve and to get better and find ways to get better is really, really elite. Every one of them, not just our coaches, but everybody around our program. And so, but there is an element of we know what it takes. Now, it doesn't guarantee success. You've got to have the players that are going to buy in, and they've got to stay healthy and come together. But it's hard. And, like Mimi was talking about it, she committed to me on my first phone call within 10 minutes. Well, that's probably harder to trust than somebody like Sydney Hilly that committed 4 years before she got here. And by the time she got here and going through some really hard stuff, her and I have developed a heck of a relationship. That trust well, if you will, is a lot deeper. And so you're asking people to do some really hard stuff that really don't know you that well. And so when one of the things I do is I tell a lot of stories about previous players and previous teams. They've gone through hard things. And you hope that some of that stuff, that as you're telling some of those stories, some of our players say, man, I want to be where they've been. And Allie Andrews came up to me earlier today and asked if we've got our alumni weekend coming up this weekend, and asked me if Haley Nelson was going to be there because she wants to pick her brain. She wants to talk to her. That's some pretty cool stuff.
All right, so this is a question about a new assistant, John Shondell. What's it been like coaching with him, both professionally and personally?
I think John's absolutely one of the best trainers in our game at any level. He's coached 10, 11, 12-year-olds. He's coached high school teams to elite team. He's been in the Big Ten for 20 years. He was a pro coach last year in Indianapolis and got them to the championship of their pro league. And his family is probably as well known in our sport as any family there is. And him and I have known each other since junior high. We went to high school together and junior high together. We were in each other's weddings. I was his assistant coach in the mid-'90s with him at Newcastle Chrysler High School. So we know each other really, really well. And I'm getting exactly what I thought. And that's one of the best trainers in the game.
Is that, I'm guessing that's just a really smooth transition then, right? Like, since you guys know each other so well.
It is, but there's also, I think we enjoy each other. We're also making a cognizant effort not to go back to when we were 17 and have those kinds of conversations. You think about your old friends, your old buddies, and you get, well, that's not good for any of us if that's our conversation. But we're both Cincinnati Reds fans as well as Brewer fans. But to have somebody that could talk about the big red machine of the 70s has been fun. But he's a great addition for us.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being this part of the show. Like I said, we're going to hear from the Badger seniors coming up here in just a little minute as part of an exclusive Q&A that we had earlier here tonight. Kelly, tickets still available for the Kohl Center match on Friday against Kansas and on Sunday against Texas. Thanks. Good luck.
Thanks, guys.
All right, there you go. That's head coach Kelly Sheffield. We'll take a break. We'll come back with more. Keep it right here. This is the Kelly Sheffield Show presented by North and South. And welcome back to the Kelly Sheffield Show, brought to you by North and South Seafood and Smokehouse. Reminder, the Badgers take on Kansas in the season opener Friday night at 6 p.m. on ESPN Madison and the ESPN Wisconsin app. Then Sunday, our broadcast starts at 12:30 with first serve just after 1 p.m. against number 5, Texas. But Kelly Sheffield Show earlier this week, At the ESPN Madison studios, we had a gathering, so to say, including seniors Jada Chernelia, Mimi Collier, Alicia Andrew, and Carter Booth, along with head coach Kelly Sheffield. Had some Q&A with a small audience as well. So we thought we'd bring you a lot of that. Really fun stuff from the Badgers seniors and head coach Kelly Sheffield. So here is that.
Thank you for coming out here this evening and getting ready for the start of the Wisconsin Badger volleyball season. We've got the 4 Badger seniors here along with head coach Kelly Sheffield. So thanks for being here. Yeah, we'll do some clapping. There we go. So we will take some questions from you, so start thinking of some really good questions. In the meantime, I'd like to introduce everybody. Jada Chernelia over here. To the far my right, Mimi Collier, head coach Kelly Sheffield, Carter Booth, and Alicia Andrew, all here ready for the start of the season. So anybody can take this first question. How exciting is it to get ready for the start of a brand new season? How excited are you, and what's that like?
I think there are butterflies every year, like just the nervousness of stepping out with a new group, but also just seeing how fun it is. You know, the first practice that we have where we played sixes and it's like we get a glimpse of how good we can be. I don't know, that always just really gets me fired up and makes me really excited.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Mimi.
I was just going to say, there's a lot of new faces this year, so I think as much as it's exciting for us, I think it's really exciting for Badger fans just to see, like I said, all the new faces. There between transfers and freshmen, there's going to be a lot of new impact players, and I'm excited to kind of show everyone what we've been working on in the gym.
Jada, Alicia?
I think it's really cool because I have a different perspective because I've grown up here and I've watched Wisconsin volleyball my whole life. And so being able to start off my career at Wisconsin in the Kohl Center where my dad used to play hockey, I think is super cool. And I'm really excited because I've watched it all my life. And so to be a part of it is really cool.
Yeah, I think that Wisconsin volleyball is just such a special program and it's such a well-known fan base, and so just to be able to play in this arena with the fan base that they have and with these new faces, these new girls, I'm just really excited. So,
Kelly, what's it like for you from a coaching perspective to get ready for a brand new season?
Well, if it ever gets old, you gotta find something else to do, and it is for me. It never gets old. It's every year and the possibilities and the unknown, and I remember when I first took this job. I think it was Pete. I'm almost certain it was Pete Wade that said, "You've got to be a competitive junkie to want to be in this league in volleyball," and that's what we try to recruit. We try to recruit competitive junkies that they want to compete, they want to do epic things, they want to be on the biggest stage, and. We've played a couple matches in the Kohl Center. We've got 3 of them coming up there. The 2 times we played have been 15,000 and 16,000 fans. And it's against Kansas, who has already played 10 sets. Top 15 ranked team in the country, and in Texas, who I think is preseason top 5 team. So it's one of the awesome things about volleyball is. You consistently see this in our sport where the best teams are going at each other right away. And it makes the preseason very, very compelling. Those early matchups really, really compelling because they mean something. But we've been in the gym for about 3 weeks. Really, every day you could tell our group getting a little bit more comfortable with each other. The competitiveness is coming out of them. The voices are coming out of them. We've got, I think, 10 new players. But the one thing I know is that there's a lot of talent in the gym.
You mentioned the 10 new players, and we've got 3 of them up here. Carter, a returning player. So what is that like for team bonding? I mean, how do you guys become one as a unit, obviously on the court, but also off the court? Because I know you guys might have a viewing party tonight of just like getting together and like watching TV or something like that. But what kind of team bonding has this group been able to do?
In the summer, it was a lot of, pool parties and things like that, like just getting together and like making snacks for people. And then I think, just all teams, if you don't know about volleyball, it's pretty much standard that we work volleyball camps every single summer, which is like 12-hour days back to back to back, so we are with each other all the time. And you really are able to bond through the struggle, because it's great, and it's so fun to make some of these kids Christmas gifts and things like that, and it's so fun to make their years, but also it's really hard. So doing that, and then on top of the conditioning, I feel like that sort of forges the foundation of a bond that we then build upon.
Yeah, I was going to say that, because I answered this question earlier today. I think a big thing for us is because we are doing summer training kind of just by ourselves. We're in the gym by ourselves. People are kind of getting the feel of being, in Wisconsin for the freshmen that are new, or for us transfers that were new. We're in the gym by ourselves, but we're also doing summer conditioning. So we're literally running stadiums and running court sprints and dying every other day, but we're doing it together, and we're getting better together, and we're suffering through it together, and then we get to go do our fun pool parties. So I think kind of working through the hard and doing that together has really brought us closer throughout the summer.
Can you paint a picture for what some of these summer workouts were looking like? What time you were doing it? How long were you in there? And because every Monday looked the same, every Tuesday looked the same, right? What can each of you take maybe a day and explain what that day looked like?
Yeah, Monday was a tough one. Okay, so Mondays, that was the stadium day. So we're up 6 a.m. workouts. So we do our full lift in the weight room. So total, it's probably an hour and a half, hour 45 maybe total. Yeah, so hour in the weight room, get all of our work in. And then we do, on the turf, we do all of our pre-sprint work. So we would do different sprints from the ground, different sprints from laying on our backs, and we do all of that. That would be the warm-up.
And when she says on the ground, she means Kevin with the whistle, get on the ground, yes. Marine Corps, roll and sprint.
Rolling in the turf.
I'm 6'7",
yeah.
Okay? It's a long way down there. It's for both of us.
We're big girls, and so when the little liberos are just up sprint, I'm not even up off the floor. I'm not even up off the floor. Yeah. So that in itself was a task. And then after we're done with that, that's all the pre-warm-up. We have to climb to the top of the stadium, which low-key the climb is honestly the hardest part. Getting all the way to the top of the stadium.
Way up, it's your heart is racing. You're about to die, and you're walking up this, and Kevin's here we go. We're gonna have so much fun today, and we're
it's the top part of Camp Randall, the extra high seating. So we're walking up the ramp, and it takes us 15 minutes to walk up, and we're oh god, it's go time.
Yeah, and then when we get up there, we'd have different sets of stadium sprints. So we'd all line up across the bleachers. And it would be we had 10 seconds to get to the top. And so everyone's in a dead out sprint to get to the top. You'd walk down, dead out sprint to get to the top. I would always try and catch some of the littles because they're a lot faster than I am.
But you're not on the steps, you're on the bleachers.
Yeah, we're on the bleachers. We're stepping from the bleachers, which honestly,
you're
long legs.
Up the bleachers.
Yeah, I'll take the stadiums over the court sprints any day of the week. I know that's a hot take here, but I like the stadiums over the court sprints.
I don't know.
See, I like stadiums.
Have you had anybody that's thrown up while doing stadiums?
Mimi Collier, everyone.
Wait, I would like to preface, I was throwing up, but I was always in the top 4 people up there.
Okay.
So I was up there.
You could probably clone 6 Mimis from the amount of DNA she has left at the top of that stadium. It's insane.
So that's Monday?
That's
just Monday.
Okay.
That's just Monday.
That's day one.
Day one.
We'll try to get through the week a little bit quicker than Monday.
We will. I forget what Tuesday was. Was Tuesday the plyometrics with the jumping and stuff?
Jumping.
Yeah.
Okay, Tuesday was one of the easier days where we did the conditioning first, and the conditioning, it was only 45 minutes of just repeat jumping up on boxes and doing different kind of explosive jumps. We would do bounding jumps up a ramp, which were pretty difficult. We would do hurdles.
The box jumps.
Yeah, box jumps and balancing, and then it was hour and 20 minutes of heavy legs, I think. Yeah, that was our heaviest day. So that was kind of an off day. That one you didn't die as much.
Wednesday was self-defense.
Wednesday we had a self-defense class, and then that kind of turned into an active recovery. Whatever, that's a sidetrack. And then Thursday we would do our med ball circuit as the warm-up. So we'd all go out into the turf, do this intense med ball routine, and then sprint football field down and back, do it again, sprint down and back, do that 5 or 6 times, and then we would go into our heavy arms day lift. So yeah, med balls were easier but still not very fun
until we got kicked out of the indoor turf because of Coldplay and all that stuff going on.
Morgan Wallen too.
And Morgan Wallen kicked us out, so then we went to the field house, and instead of like getting a nice little cool down, walk back, Kevin would say, touch the top of the, run up the stairs, touch the top of the field house, run back down, get into a plank until everyone's done. Yeah. So it wasn't much of a rest.
You kind of had to be a little strategic.
I'm going to rescue this because you could tell there's some attitude that's coming out right now, some sassiness and stuff that it's from some of us. It's I will say this: our strength coach Kevin Schultz is got to be the best in the country at what he does, and he is. They're talking about how difficult it is. But I've never seen a human being that every single morning brings a joy and an enthusiasm that is contagious. These guys are going through a lot of hard stuff at 6 o'clock, 6:30 in the morning, and that guy in the summer is able to get a lot of smiles before and after, a lot of high fives, a lot of camaraderie. One of the things that we're not able to do in our sport is the coaches, we get no time with the players. It's most of the other sports, football, basketball, hockey, golf, just most of them are able to work with their players. We're not. And so it's at the feet of our captains and our leaders and at Kevin. And when you have so many people that are coming in and transitioning in, either as transfers or as freshmen, a big part of the team coming together lies on a strength coach, right? So that's the only one that's able to do this. And so having somebody as good as he is, that has been around our program that long, because in a lot of cases, they've spent way more time with him than us during those early months.
Mm-hmm. All right, some Q&A there with the Badger seniors and head coach Kelly Sheffield. We've got more of this Q&A coming up next, so keep it right here. This is the Kelly Sheffield Show, presented by North and South Seafood and Smokehouse. And welcome back. It is the Kelly Sheffield Show. Final segment for you here. Kelly Sheffield Show brought to you by North and South Seafood and Smokehouse. And we continue on with our Q&A with Wisconsin seniors Jada Chernelia, Carter Booth, Mimi Collier, and Alicia Andrew, along with the Badgers head coach, Kelly Sheffield.
Yeah. Is there a team that you're most excited to face this year?
It's got to be the season opener, right?
I think
That's what I was gonna say.
Kansas.
Yeah.
I was going to say that.
Okay.
So if you don't know my background, I transferred from Oregon. I was at Oregon for 3 years. My coach at Oregon is now the new Kansas coach. So, of course, our first game is, against Kansas because, that makes sense. So, I'm really excited for that. I haven't seen them in 8 months. The whole staff went there, so excited to see them, excited to show them what I've been cooking up for the last 8 months, especially in the Kohl Center. We have a lot of fans cheering for us now, and no one's me cheering for them. Yeah, so, I don't know. I'm excited to play Kansas, show them what's up.
I have two. One is Texas because my best friend from NIO, her best friend is Emma Halter. And so she's coming to visit this weekend. And so it's kind of she's going to sit with my parents, but then also go sit with Emma's parents. So that'll be a fun little crossover. And then Nebraska, I think, is going to be really fun having them in the field house. I did kind of wish that I could go play in their gym, but I think having them here is going to be really cool. So those two.
I was going to say Texas just because I faced off a lot against them when I was at Baylor, so in the Big 12. And then also I'm really excited to go play at UW, so at University of Washington, and at Oregon because that's where I'm originally from. So I have a lot of my hometown family. I've never gotten to play out there, so I have a lot of my family that are going to get to come see me play. So.
I think obvious answer, home opener. First match, it's going to be a good matchup. They've been putting up really good performances on TV. I'm just excited to get on the court and be person to person. I think just all the usuals, the Penn State, the Nebraska, I'm excited to play the best of the best. Not only to, show where other people where we're at, but for us ourselves to check, where are the holes, where are our deficiencies, and where are we excelling, and how do we capitalize on those things?
That actually kind of leads to a question I had. What do you guys feel are the top strengths of this year's team heading into the openers?
I just think we have a lot of arm power behind us. We've got people that can score from all over the court. We're working at how to put that best on the court and where to put, like, where the pieces all fit. But we've got 4 different attackers at all times, and I think that's a big strength and something that we can really utilize for our success in the future.
I think that, and I think also our serve power. I think from the back line, being able to put on a lot of service pressure on the other team gets them out of system, and then it makes it a lot easier for our block, and we have some really big blockers. So I think our serving, I'm really excited to see how we face against some big teams.
Outside of volleyball, what is your passion?
One thing that, I guess my area of study and what I really want to get into is healthcare, and so trying to find a balance in undergrad of balancing that school education, shadowing, wanting to go into nursing was really difficult. But I just think that it's a really cool field to go in. I've always loved talking to people and helping people. And so I think that just finding those opportunities and stuff to do outside of volleyball is so important to help stay grounded in volleyball. I think if you don't have things outside that you're passionate about or putting your time into, then you kind of get lost in the sport. And so I think that was really important for me to have that.
I love social media, as all of these people know. I got the chance to go to Big Ten Media Days with Kelly, Carter, and Mimi, and it was the best time ever. And I think just being able to show my life, but also our team's life and how we kind of operate as a team and things we do off the court together, and just being able to share that with our fans, I think is really cool. And that's what I want to go into in the future. So I'm going to do sports social media. But yeah, being able to show the fun side to Wisconsin volleyball, I think was maybe something that was missing in the past. And I'm really excited that I have been able to do that for us this year. So it's been fun.
She's also been doing a wonderful job teaching us how to do social media and how to promote ourselves and our brands. So whenever any of the youngsters on the team or we all have questions, we go to Jada. So she's a really good resource for that too.
Our Instagrams have never looked better.
Thank you, everyone.
Truly.
Thank you. Yes, it's fun.
Carter, Mimi, you want to?
I think it's a tough question for me. I really volleyball is my number one. It is my passion. I'm on set to earn a degree in psychology after this semester, so I'll have that under my belt. But there's nothing else that I am truly passionate about with my entire heart and soul in my being than volleyball. And I think that's a really special thing. And whatever I end up doing, I think volleyball has taught me skills to excel and succeed in many different environments, so the public speaking and the confidence and things like that, and I'm comfortable on camera. So, I could be Salima, go into the sports analytics and things like that. I don't really know, but I think just I do best when I am where my feet are, and my past, present, and future is volleyball, and that's what I am pouring my everything into.
Yeah, I'm glad Carter went that way, because I was going to say, whole career-wise, I'm going to go play pro after this. I'll get a degree in consumer business and consumer behavior and marketplace studies. So there's no social media that I'm passionate about or healthcare, whatever. I'm going to go play volleyball. That's my plan. And again, super passionate about volleyball. That's what I'm here to do. That's what I've been doing my whole life. But something else I'll say I'm really passionate about is just my relationships. I think, I hold the people that are my people really dearly to my heart, and I love developing those relationships. I think the people you surround yourself with are an extension of yourself. So just developing those relationships, whether that be the roommates, we're all 4 roommates also, whether that's hanging out with the roommates or hanging out with the team or just my family back at home or just all the relationships, my past teammates. I love developing those relationships and just being able to hang out with all my people and surround myself with my very best people.
Jon, something that these guys just said that would have sounded different a decade ago is they know that there's a long career in volleyball after this if they want to continue forward. And most of the other sports on campus have had that for the best players. Our best players have had to go overseas and playing year-round. I mean, the overseas season is about 8 months long. So you have a player like Dana Redke or Sarah Franklin. Dana was in Turkey last year, and she started in September and ended in April or May, and then immediately went to the USA gym. It's 12 months. It's 12 months. You think about NFL players aren't playing for 12 months around. The NBA players aren't doing that. The volleyball players have had to do that, and for most of it, it's been in another country. The fact that the pro leagues are in the States, one of them started 2 years ago. The other one that it has a Madison team started last year, and that season's is about half as long. Has just opened up the world for so many other people that have relationships here, that don't have to choose between their relationships and their family and going overseas and playing, that they can have all that right here, is an absolute game changer what is possible.
Well said. And if you do want the best behind the scenes of the Badger volleyball team, I would recommend Jada's social media.
Shout out, hey.
Yeah, I mean,
follow me at Jada Cern, hey.
there you go.
And there you go. Thanks to all those Badger seniors and head coach Kelly Sheffield for this season premiere of the Kelly Sheffield Show. We've got the Kelly Sheffield Show ready to roll now for the rest of the season right here on ESPN Madison, and as always on the ESPN Wisconsin app and on YouTube as well. So, important things you need to remember. Coming up on Friday, Wisconsin starts the season at the opening Spike Classic at the Kohl Center against number 14 Kansas. We've got the pregame starting at 5:30, first serve just after 6 p.m. Then on Sunday, the Badgers and Longhorns tangle at the Kohl Center. 12:30 the broadcast time, and first serve just after 1 p.m. And as always, you can listen to the matches here on ESPN Madison and the ESPN Wisconsin app. Thanks to head coach Kelly Sheffield, thanks to the Badger seniors, and thanks to you for listening to the season premiere of the Kelly Sheffield Show, brought to you by North and South Seafood and Smokehouse.